don't just jump from one relationship to the next. Try to be introspective, because if you do, you're just gonna perpetuate the same cycle that you did in a previous relationship. Even though he may not have been toxic to you, what did you learn in your other toxic relationship that you brought into this relationship? And those things, those might be stuff you might not even be aware of. Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you? Make sure you set out the vibe. And if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me. I know I have been so inconsistent in the past couple of months. I don't know what's been happening. I've been sick. I took a trip, had fun, came back, went back to being sick. It's been a whirlwind. So to you guys who are still here, still listening, y'all are the real ones, because I don't know. But anyway, as usual, we'll just jump into the first story of the episode. The title of the story is My Ex Told People He's Absolutely Done With Me After a Month. All right, so we're just going to dive in. I'm a 19-year-old girl, and my boyfriend of almost 1 year, who's also 19, broke up with me super suddenly after having an amazing, non-toxic, fun relationship. We were also best friends for 4 years before we started dating. He helped me through an abusive relationship too, and also helped me get out of it. Okay. I know some people are like, I know some people are not going to agree with my advice, but I don't like it when friends date. I don't like it when friends date, but I do think you should be friends with your romantic partner. It's just a weird one for me. I don't like it when a platonic relationship goes to a romantic relationship. I feel like there's a lot of gray areas in there, and I don't know. I just don't like it. I guess it's a personal taste, but I say this a lot, and I'm perfectly aware of how difficult it is to be this introspective with your relationships. But I do think whenever you get out of a relationship or you break up with a relationship, after you cry your eyes out, you process the whole thing, I think it's good to reflect on how the relationship went. What worked, what didn't work, what did you learn about yourself, what did you learn about the type of partners you like, and not just be caught up in the emotions. And I completely understand if you're caught up in the emotions, okay? I'm a strong believer of humans being emotional creatures who use logic as an explanation or an excuse for our emotional outbursts. I don't think we're all that logical. I think we're mostly emotional. So I do understand, but I also think it does take a very mature person to be able to reflect on what has happened and plan ahead for either knowing how to navigate when a certain scenario happens again, or just knowing that this type of person is not for them. And judging from this, it seems like you just jumped out of an abusive relationship with your ex and just fell into the arms of your knight in shining armor, who happened to be your friend, who's a guy. It's just, were y'all compatible, or was he just available? That's what I want to know. Anyways, let me continue the story before I even start giving my advice. So he was living with me and my parents due to family abandonment. What do you mean by family abandonment? One day I came home from work at about 6:40 p.m. on a Saturday, and he wasn't home. He got home at around 9 p.m., goes straight out back and texts me he's done. We didn't talk face to face all night. He would give me multiple different reasons for leaving, almost like he didn't even know why. Um, I can imagine how confusing this is, but I really like that you said that, but because I read this in a book and it just kind of sparked something in me. The quote goes along the lines of, women don't know when to end a relationship. Like, women tend to be so invested in a relationship, we try to make it work. If we feel like something isn't working, we try to pour our hearts and our efforts, whatever, to just try to make it work, even though the relationship does not serve us. Women don't know how to end a relationship. The code goes along the line of, women don't know how to end a relationship, and men don't know how to tell their partners they do not want to be in a relationship. And I do kind of feel like this code kind of excuses cheating behavior in a bit. Like, a man is not going to tell you because he doesn't want to hurt your feelings, so he's just going to cheat on you and try to take a passive way out. I don't know. I feel like the code kind of excuses it, but Lately, I've been starting to believe that it might be true. There are a lot of people, especially women, that feel like you should just break up. And they, for some reason, well, it's not reason, they're in love with the person. That's what they usually say. They don't want to break up because, oh, it's the love of their life, blah, blah, blah. Even though this guy ain't nothing. Everybody can see it. And then you see some guys who are like, obviously, you don't want to be in this relationship. Why are you cheating when you can just break up with them? But, anyways, it was just an interesting perspective. And this kind of jogged my memory back to that story. So let's continue. So the next day, he moves out to his friend's parents' house, saying it's only a break. The first couple of days, he was on and off, came back once to try to talk it out, and he even cried. Then left, saying he'll come back, and since then, we've been no contact. I don't think this was a good relationship for him. For him to go no contact? Okay. There was one day, maybe 2.5 weeks into our no contact, that on a random Thursday at 2 a.m. Oh my gosh, I don't like this time frame. 2 a.m. He unblocked me on Instagram and texted me. I asked how he was doing, and he was very vague and only gave one word answers. Had a tiny talk, and all of a sudden he said he had to go and block me again. Did he miss me? Did he want to rekindle things but got scared? I'm so confused by these signals. Okay, a guy texting you at 2 a.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., those are usually signs of he's lonely and he has a hard peen, is all I'm going to say. Okay. Those are usually signs. There's some timelines when men text you and it's a big red flag, and 2 a.m. is definitely one of those. I've known his friend's parents for years. They're pretty straightforward people. They tell me some of the things he's been saying. Like, he says he's quote unquote completely done with me. A couple of times I've talked to the mom on how much I miss him, and she tells me that he says, I have no feelings like that toward her anymore. I don't feel the same way. All kinds of hurtful things to hear after having such a beautiful relationship that my heart cherished. I don't mean to burst your bubble. It doesn't seem like he cherishes it. Okay. I've also been told he's not doing well either. He's been taking a lot of pills again, parentheses, ibuprofen and just pain medicine. Not sleeping, barely, and just out of it with no emotion. Does he feel bad for what he's done? Or is he just like that because of other reasons? I don't know. It's been about a month and I feel like I'm losing it. I want him back so badly. I really bonded with him internally and I'm not ready to let such a perfect thing go. We both love each other very much. I haven't been eating, sleeping, and it's been hard to go to work. I'm on my phone way too much and I check if he's unblocked me. I feel like I've lost a piece of myself. That that's dangerous. What do I do? I know I need to work on myself. That's my first step. I've gotten closer to God, but I feel like I'm still losing my grip. I cannot give up on him, on what we had, and he knows that. Okay, girl, do you just want to have a relationship with him no matter what? Or do you want a happy and fulfilling relationship with him? Because let me shut up. Let me shut up. Any advice would be amazing. How do I keep myself busy and have faith to look forward? I don't want to lose him, but I don't want to lose myself either. Anything help? Wow. Okay. So before anyone writes anything in the comments, she's 19, he's 19. Okay. Not to dismiss her feelings, but she's pretty young and breakups are usually hard. But going back to the advice I gave in the beginning, just reflect on what went good in a relationship and what didn't. Because it seems to me like this is pure conjecture. I am assuming stuff I have no business assuming. But basically, from an outside perspective, coming in with what you have said, he seems to be the person you tell everything to. right? He seems to be your safe space. The one you come in and you tell all your troubles, everything you're dealing with, the horrible coworkers you've had. Example, what happened in your previous relationship. And I'm pretty sure he's like a safe space for you. And you're 19, so I don't blame you on this. But my question for you will be, were you a safe place for him? I'm kind of taken aback by how he's not really able to vocalize stuff with you. Is it like, because sometimes it can be difficult for us to look beyond our perspective. And I don't blame you. You're young, okay? You're learning these things. But the fact that he's not able to tell you outright what the reason is, it seems like he's trying to spare your feelings for whatever reason. Maybe it's because he feels bad that you left a previous relationship a year ago that was abusive and toxic and all these bad stuff. And now you entered a relationship with him and it might still be abusive on his end. On your end, it seems like it's great, but this is also why I don't think friends should date. But because like dating someone and being friends with someone are two different things. No matter how wonderful they seem to be. But it's like he seems to be an internalizer who tends to internalize stuff and doesn't want to, like I said, make you feel bad for maybe some of the stuff you did in the relationship that he didn't like. I don't know his perspective, but it seems like he's just been putting up with a lot of stuff, was not able to vocalize it for XYZ reason, one, two, three reason. I don't know. We just have your perspective. And now he's just out and about. And it's just I don't know. My advice would be cry about it, reflect on the relationship, and see what you learn from it. I think you can learn a lot from both of your relationships. And I will always tell you guys, don't just jump from one relationship to the next. That's not a good trait. Okay. I know some people don't want to be by themselves. They don't want to be alone, but taking a time for reflection is really what's going to help you grow into a more mature person. And a more mature person is easily able to find, their person, they're the one or the ones, whatever you want to call them. But it's just like the fact that the relationship on your end was so good seems like he's been internalizing a lot of stuff, was not able to vocalize it to you for any which way. And it's maybe it wasn't toxic to you, but I feel like this relationship was very toxic to him, which is why he broke up with you. So I would just tell you, reflect on what has happened. This doesn't mean you're a bad person, by the way. Okay. I don't want you to listen to this advice and think that if you're in a similar situation or this has happened to you, it means you're a bad person. No. It just means that maybe there's some stuff you aren't aware of. And sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So this would be a good time for you to just reflect on what has happened. I mean, take time to yourself and really try to see, like, for example, all the stuff he did to you, all the stuff that were good. You can put that in your list of partners you want to choose. And then maybe after some time, if he comes back and talks to you about what didn't work for him in a relationship, you can kind of see how some of the stuff you've done in the relationship might push this type of partner away. But I think it's very dangerous for you to be like, you lost a piece of yourself. I understand where that comes from. Trust me, I do. But you didn't lose a piece of yourself. It's heartbreaking and it's unfortunate that you don't have this relationship in your life anymore. However, even though this time might seem like the worst thing ever, even if this might seem like your rock bottom, you're going to bounce back from it. You didn't lose a piece of yourself. You might have changed part of yourself after you've learned the lesson you're supposed to learn from this relationship. But I think this relationship and what has happened to you, no matter how bad it is going to build up a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. If you need to cry about it, cry about it. Okay. I am pro crying and feeling all your emotions. However, after you've done that, reflect on what has happened. If you need to cry some more after reflecting, go right ahead. But I think introspection is what you need. And I will always tell you guys, don't just jump from one relationship to the next. Try to be introspective, because if you do, you're just going to perpetuate the same cycle that you did in a previous relationship. Even though he may not have been toxic to you, what did you learn in your other toxic relationship that you brought into this relationship? And those things, those might be stuff you might not even be aware of. Because first of all, you're 19. Second of all, There's some people in their 30s and their 40s who don't understand this, who never learned from the previous relationship. So I know it's difficult and I know it's hard, and I don't want to seem like I'm just bashing you because ex who happened to be your best friend who was really supportive just left you no contact. I don't want to bash you. You're 19, you're young, you're still learning about life. This is not a character flaw. I would never say that this is a character flaw, but try to heal, try to take some time to yourself, and don't feel like this is a loss. I know it's very difficult for someone to go through something bad like a breakup or a job loss to tell them this isn't a bad thing. I know how ridiculous it sounds, but in any bad, and yes, I'm going to use quotations, in any bad situations I've been in, once I've cried my eyes out and reflected on it, and after reflecting on it, still cry some more because it sucked. And then slowly but surely just took on life one step at a time. I realized I had to go through that for me to be where I need to be in the future. And I know it's difficult to see forward when you feel like you're in a tough place, you're in a hard place. I completely get that, I completely understand. But don't feel like you're just down in the dumps and you're not going to bounce back from this. You are. You're going to become stronger. You're going to become wiser. You're going to learn more about yourself. And more importantly, you're going to learn more about the type of partners you want to have in your life, such as maybe some of the actions this boyfriend did and some of the action the other guy did not do. You know that that's a red flag for you, or those are non-negotiable for you, and you just move accordingly. This, unfortunately, is a part of life. As unfortunate as breakups are, or job losses, or just losing your loved ones, this is a part of life. And it's a part of life that we don't want to focus too much on. It's nice to focus on the good stuff, the promotions, the you passing college, or you having a successful relationship. It's nice to focus on that, but life isn't just a series of good events. Bad events also happen. And when those things do happen, it's important for us to just slow down. And I know how difficult it is to just, when something bad happens, I'm saying to slow down. Yes. Slow down and really examine what's happening. Because if you try to rush into something else, you might find yourself in an even worse situation than you are now. So, my advice for you, anyone in a similar situation, or anyone just feeling like they've gone through a loss, when a bad thing happens in your life, it is for you to reflect. It's not for you to keep going harder or hustle some more or try this other thing. No, it's for you to sit down, reflect on what has happened. If you need to cry about it, you have my permission. You don't need my permission, but you have my permission to cry about it, reflect. And even if you're reflecting, you still feel the need to cry, go right ahead. But it's very important for you to reflect and just tackle it one day at a time. And you have to keep faith or keep believing that a stronger version of yourself is building up. It's like the phoenix, right? Turn to ashes and then flies away. Well, y'all know what phoenixes are. They're born from ashes. It's like out with the old, in with a new, better, stronger version of yourself. So that's how I would take it. And I know how difficult it is. So that's also why I want to tell you, you are not alone. A lot of people go through this. It's not to minimize what you're going through, but it's just to give you clarity that this is something a lot of us have to go through because it's a part of life. It's a part of learning, maturing, and growing into our best version of ourselves or our higher version of ourselves. All right. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And as usual, we get our stories on our website, which is kitchentableadvice.com. That's where we get most of our stories as well as business inquiries. Our website also has a plethora of other stuff. We have wonderful work of art made by yours truly, me. I just call it weird contemporary art. We also have a series of slightly unhinged poems, as well as blogs about political, social, or whatever issue that just comes to my mind. So if you want to visit the website, again, it's called kitchentableadvice.com. So thank you so much for spending your day with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.